Hello, my legends. Welcome to another videos by yours truly, Matthew Lavis, over at Visual Innovative Technology, or VITech for short. I wanted to take the time to thank you, Mr. Phillip. It's not every time we get an opportunity to get a direct message from me to make a whole video just for you, but you know what? It intrigued me. And through this journey, you're going to see that it took quite some time. But if you want to skip it all and just get your answer, go to 1440. Let's see, I wrote a sticky note about it. 1442 in the video for you, and I'm sure every IT person in our community can feel for you. We've definitely been in those situations where, we've dealt with a client or a customer where they have some, unique vendor plugins or unique licenses that they just have to have and use, and so upgrading to the most recent version to avoid, losing out on potential security updates is always a concern. So we're just going to do a walkthrough on this. This was, so on my video that you watched, this 2016 server right here was the 2012 server. So we're just going to start. All right, we're going to change the directory where it goes by default. I'm just going to throw it into my NVMe drive. Make sure your BIOS or UEFI is selected. You want to make sure that this is correct anyways. I'm going to eventually turn this up to 2. I'm just going to say next. I'm going to go to 4 gigabytes. 4 gigabytes, and then I'm going to click next. We're going to go through bridge mode because my virtual NIC's not working properly. We're just going to hit defaults, next, go through all this stuff. We're just going to create a new virtual disk. We're going to do, I don't know, maybe like 40 gigs, 45 gigs for a hard drive space. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to customize and get rid of anything I don't need. If you have printers or, whatever virtual devices you may or may not need, I'm going to get rid of it. Go to 2, like I said, hit OK, hit finish, and it's going to build out the virtual machine. Easy enough. I apologize for that. So I'm just installing the ISO file here, which is I couldn't find, so I'm installing it right now. Okay, so if we go back here and then we go to settings, come on. And then we hit connected. Okay, and then if you just power cycle the VM, restart guest, and then it should just boot up to Windows 2012 R2. Okay, we're just going to do the standard R2 version with GUI, so we just don't want it to do CLI. And we'll go through this process real quick. I just kind of wanted to show you the process at which I go through. Okay, so we'll let that install. Pretty boring, so we're just going to pause it here. License attached to this thing, so okay, it'll be in evaluation mode itself, right? Because it's just a normal 2012 R2 server. There it is. That's what I was looking for. Key finder. This thing is awesome. So you were worried about your keys and stuff. So restore Windows server product keys. Retrieve product licenses from your hard disk crash, which is fantastic. I use this a lot too. See how it gives you some examples for Adobe, your Microsoft Office 365. If you had like your proprietary licenses that you don't have anymore, at least give this a shot. It's like 39 bucks, and it'll try its best to grab activation keys. So there's nothing you get out of the there's no trial. Oh wow, they went down. Fantastic. So grab one. 1995. Worst case, it doesn't work for you to grab some, perhaps the developer of your special software that you have, and there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So, you can try it. Now, Their tech support is lagging. It's not US based, but it does work. I have had to set up an RMA on a piece of software, and they did get back to me within a week, and I got my money back on, or not my money back, but I got my license back on something I accidentally purchased for a customer on their behalf, and then they never used it. And so I tried to, they understood. They were really nice. It was just an open email. So I actually did appreciate their support, although it was a little bit long. But yeah, use this, actually. So step one, make a backup, whether you're using, the Windows backup, make a bare metal backup, because you're going to be doing something that typically, just requires a good backup. That's all I got to say. Okay, so we're going to go through this real quick. Typical, yep, install, and I may have to reboot, so I'm going to pause this. Alrighty, as you can see, the screen filled out more, so it's seeing my graphics, and there it goes, finished. And of course, it wants to restart. So, alright, here's what it looks like, right? Ease US to do backup. Throw this on your, if you have, you can buy the cloud services. I just throw it on my local, what do you call it, external hard drive. I'll be plugged in. I have it set to run every week, so every Saturday. Yeah, and the recovery process is amazing. I always just do so you can clone it, which I'm going to do. I have a new M.2 drive I want to throw in there. You can create this. You'll need to do that for if you want to do a restore. So you just throw that on a USB drive and you're good to go. And it will find your backup and recover it lickety-split. I was very impressed. It's hard to impress me these days on certain softwares, and that was one of them. Alright, let's get this in my clipboard. Let's get this, activate it. Boom. What the? I don't know why it's asking me. I already have a license. See, licensed. Paste. There we go. Maybe I could have done that. Boom! And I got the elite version activated, right? So I would be super concerned about losing my license for Glasswire. It's one of my favorite firewall and all things. It's just the best, right? So, let's say you have a thing, you just block everything from running and you just allow what you want allowed out, which is great. And it's pesky when you have some things you think you have on your computer that's running maliciously and you just don't know. Pause this, look, you could do a deep dive in it and find out what's going on. See between that, oh, it was to activate Glasswire during that little section. So pretty cool. Then it can reach out on the network and see what's going on. And I love the firewall on it. Okay, so we have an activated proprietary software, and let's go ahead and go through the upgrading of this system here. And I will make one note, which is you may want to double check if you're using a domain controller on this thing too, because you'll need to prep your domain. If you're not, then ignore it, and then and that's a Google search, just prepping your domain. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm just going to collect some information. System 32. All right. So now we're going to do system info.exe. And all this does is just tells me very important information. So, what's installed on your system, what your DHCP server is, what your current IP address is. Do you have Hyper-V installed? And this little bit of information tells me what I need to do for preparations, because each one of those answers. So if I answer yes to any of those things, there are things I need to do before I upgrade to 2016. But if it's basic and generic, and you don't have AD or DNS or Hyper-V installed, then we'll ignore it, and move on. But this is what I normally grab. I grab the system information, so that and like I said, whatever roles they may or may not have installed on here. So, anyways, and install. Okay, we're gonna go to settings. So this would be like putting in the CD or throwing in the ISO image, right? Because that's all I'm doing here too. Okay, so you can see right here, it's the same one. 2016 Data Center Eval. Directly from the Microsoft website. There's nothing special. I'm going to click OK. And there it is. We're going to run the setup. I don't want to do updates right now. That's going to take extra hours. I don't want to send any additional heuristic data to Microsoft, so I'm going to leave that unchecked. And as you can see, it reached out. It's still sending data to them, even though I said not to. But I'm assuming it's just basic things, basic information. Okay, and then as you saw in that system info from the command line, it was just a standard. And this is it. So I want to use when GUI is required, because this one is just CLI. I don't want to just use CLI. I want to use the desktop experience. I'm going to accept it. And I'm assuming this is what you're getting here. Well, I mean, at this point, so that's pretty stupid. I agree with you. That's really dumb. And in fact, I appreciate you opening my eyes. As you can see, so they've made some major changes here. So if you are using the new 2016, and what did I tell you, it was build 14393, then you are SOL, and you have to have a specific version, retail or mass, how do I describe it, bulk licensing, so that won't work. So now you got me curious here. So I don't know. So here's what we're going to do. I can show you. So Microsoft Windows 2022 LTSC Data Center version 21. Okay, so latest version. This is 2022. Let's just see if we can make that large of a jump. But it'd be fun to test out, right? Why not? In the meantime, I am downloading 2016 Data Center off site somewhere, off of an old ISO I had lying around. I think it's in my OneDrive. No. Okay, so we're going to see what's going to happen here, because this is going to be the determining factor of if you're required to go off and try your best to go and find a Windows Server 2016 license, or go to any CDI or other partnering company that can support Windows licenses. I think the big thing is, as long as they provide you with the actual standard ISO original file, like the one I used to use, or the one that I have right now, or that's so sad too, because you don't need to it's a little overkill, right? Because you already have a license for your Windows 2012 R2 to spend almost $300 on to. Yeah, because basically all you need is the ISO. And I felt bad that Microsoft's now doing this stuff, the shenanigans. That's really annoying. And I call BS on it, that's for sure. Or I should throw in the GIF right here. You know what grinds my gears? I don't know if you're a Family Guy fan or not, but I like that one episode at least. So, anyways, we're going to let this do its thing. If it works, then you may want to just... Basically, what this is going to tell you is one thing, which is, as long as you have a non-eval version... Yep, it just finished. Cool. As long as you have a non-eval version... Okay, which is standard, and we want the desktop experience. And that was it. So there you go. There's your answer. As long as you do not have a evaluation ISO from Microsoft, you're going to get this, which does work, right? Keep file settings and apps, right? So I'm going to say next. It's going to go through and make sure that, well, it's going to do updates, but it's going to make sure a compatibility thing, right? Whether or not the apps it'll tell you if one breaks or is not acceptable, or it won't work on the newest version of your Windows machine. So I apologize. I think I did answer that correctly. It was a licensing issue. Suspicions. I knew that. Tired. Your suspicions were correct. There is a problem with the eval version from Microsoft Office, or Microsoft downloads that they provide you now. It will not keep your information, as I confirmed that just a little while ago. I feel sorry that they're doing that. It's really, really annoying, but at least you know that you just need to get your hands on an ISO. If you want to direct email me at support@vitechaz.com. I'll be happy to send you a shared link. Boom. So it's going to keep my file settings and apps, which is what I wanted. Oh, sorry. And you can obviously, and this video also shows that you can make the jump to 2012 R2 to the latest version of 2022, which is, like, let's say I wanted just to try it out and build, I wanted to try out the new server, right? Then it just does a fresh install, but that other area that says keep all my apps and programs and files and all that other stuff is grayed out for you if you do it. So that's annoying, and I feel for you. So yeah, it's going to go ahead and do the upgrade. I think it's fine, and I think it'll work. So we're going to verify that, but actually we did verify it. Anyways, I hope this video has been instructive for you. You're not going crazy. And anybody that's curious, if they wanted to go from Windows Server 2012 R2 to 2022, it's a big jump. It does work. Desktop and Glasswire on my desktop, and obviously they'll work. Bam! There it is. Test. Which was a blank dock. Glasswire should still be activated. And remember to keep track of what your 2012 R2 license was. Either that, or you'll probably have to buy the 2022 version, or in your case, the 2016 version once you're finished. And if you don't know how to do that, you'll go to your settings, and you'll go down to updates, I believe. All right, there. Windows is activated now. And then have whoever your provider was, I'm sure they emailed you the key or product key. And you'll enter it here, and it will activate, and then you'll be good to go. Like I said, don't be afraid. This should still be, yep, Elite 299. Okay. Please don't be afraid to reach out to me if you're, unless you have a distributor. I don't want you to break your relationships with any distributor you currently have. I work with Lightwave Technical Consulting, and I work with Atlantis as far as our distribution channels are concerned. They both use two different versions, but they're part of the, like I said, the companies that I'm with and associated with. And we'd be happy to get you a quote out for that. Reach out to support@vitechaz.com, and just make sure you put your username in there, because obviously we get tons of spam. I don't want to lose you in the minutia of all that is spam. But it worked. So again, I really appreciate your question. You saw me go live through this painful process. And hopefully it will be less painful for you, as you already got your answers answered. Now, again, I'm going to put a text bulletin right now. Please do your backup before you do this. If it's a virtual machine, then just take a snapshot, and that way you can go back to 2012 Or if it's a physical machine, then, like I said, use EasyOS, use Windows Backup. I'm not a big fan of Windows Backup, but, use whatever backup service. And I mean a bare metal image or an image level backup, so you can just revert right back to it without any problems and or hassles. Yeah. That's all I got to say about the matter. That is my warning. Thank you so much for your question. Thank you all for viewing. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you on the flip side.